Hey guys, just a quick heads up before the episode begins. It will be explained throughout the episode, but we did have some audio issues that I've done my best to clean up. There was some latency problems, so Orca kept getting cut out. There were really awkward pauses where I thought he was either thinking to make a point or his internet had actually disconnected. So we've patched it together as best we can. I also claim that it's episode 7. We're actually on to episode 8. So yeah. So with all that in mind, we're going to lead into the episode now. And thank you for listening. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cheap Seats podcast. We are back after a hiatus of only a week due to scheduling conflicts. No point in having a podcast with one person, otherwise it's just someone speaking into the ether. Or being on Twitter is a perfect analogy for that.
I thought you were going to say TikTok.
That too. See now, I had my 40th birthday recently, and with that analogy, my age is showing. As always, I am joined by the co-owner, co-host, Orca Shield. Welcome, as always.
Thank you very much. And after today, actually, I feel like if Britt Baker was announcing the other co-host of this, it would be Ryu D.A.D. would be the best way to do it.
Yeah, we got the good news today that we are expecting a child, October 11th or 11th of October, if you say it correctly. Yeah, 11th of October. So it's been an emotional roller coaster today. So apologies if the energy level is slightly lacking, but I will do my very best to project as much enthusiasm as I can into this podcast. So we missed a week. It would be foolish of us to go and review the entirety of last week's Raw and SmackDown and then do this week's Raw and this most recent Raw and SmackDown, because then you'd be here for about 2.5 hours of us talking absolute nonsense. So we're going to just lightly recap last week, what we missed last week, and then we'll be moving on to this week's, or the most recent Raw and SmackDown as of this recording. So having been stuck at work and unable to watch the shows in their entirety, I caught the very kind YouTube compilations that have that tend to go up shortly after shortly after the shows themselves. So I will let someone who I know has a better handle on the on what happened on those shows. I'll let you lead off.
I mean, I might even blur the lines on some of them because I was also on nights and we've both had birthdays, so my memory is not the best. But I think that the first Raw that we missed was just it was just pure cinema, wasn't it? It was a lot of vignettes. There's not a lot of action because they don't want to risk injuries, I feel, going into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
We had the Raw side. I'm right in thinking the Raw side. Oh no, sorry, the Raw side is going to the greatest show, and who isn't? But it ended with a rather interesting segment, Monday Night Raw, the one that we missed anyway, which was the Bloodline beatdown of Cody Rhodes, where all you heard for the best part of 5 minutes, probably longer, probably about 10 minutes, was just The Rock finding different ways to say, "Look at you now, look at you."
Yeah.
The whole beatdown. It's like, Rock, you're one of the most charismatic superstars ever in WWE, and all you're doing is going, "Look at you now."
Yeah,
I'm getting more and more exhausted as the fight went on. Like, look at you, look at you. Oh God,
it did feel like he because I don't know, it's almost like his heart isn't in it because he hasn't done it for so long. He just, I don't know, it kind of feels like he knows that he has all the freedom to say whatever he wants, but he kind of holds back still. He still holds back. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. I'm not quite sure how to feel about it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think that the best part of that entire segment was actually the exclusive that was put on. Went to it basically showed you there was another angle, and it was just The Rock obviously beating down Cody, and all you heard was the cameraman go, "And we're clear." And then The Rock just carried on beating him, just carried on wailing away on Cody, and went, "What, you think because this shit's over, this is done? This ain't fucking done," and just carried on hitting Cody, like carrying the brawl on after the cameras went off the air. But again, breaking that sort of PG thing, because he was it was swearing, but obviously because it was an exclusive, they didn't have to bleep it. So you have all this footage of him just like going to town on it. But I suppose the other thing that we need to roughly touch on during that was the fact that, and it's been everywhere, there's been images of this high and low, was Papa H trying to foreshadow and drop some seeds into everyone's wildest dreams for vignettes, because the vans for WWE have been plastered with WrestleMania XL branding for the best part of a month, since Elimination Chamber. They have been hyping it up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the van that was placed in the back of that shot had John Cena and Stone Cold on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both of which have said they're free for WrestleMania weekend, by the way.
Yes, and also they are two of The Rock's most notorious rivals.
Not even just The Rock's. For John Cena's sake, he did a lot with the Bloodline as well.
Yes, yeah, that's true. So there is that. But everyone will remember the twice in a lifetime.
Yeah.
With Cena as the sort of the top of it, and then the Bloodline stuff came later, because Cena by that point was like semi-retiring. So, but yeah.
It was a good show. Don't get me wrong. Lots of story being built. I'm just trying to remember what date it was to make sure I'm looking at the right one here. We're professional. I thought it'd just been a while. It would have been the 25th.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was on 25th. So it was basically a lot of cinema. They do want to minimize injury going into Mania. There's a lot of minimization of injury going into WrestleMania. So
I can't remember. Was it? Yeah, sorry, no. 25th of March show. Again, these might be blurred into one, so we might be just doing a recap of both Raws here. Okay. But we also had, if I'm right, it was Chicago, wasn't it? The one we missed?
Yeah.
Which means it was CM Punk's return. CM Punk's return, and they had that amazing, like, promo. Like, I'm normally all against Raw. Not against Raw, that's the wrong word, but I hate the fact that for a long time, Raw became a 3-hour show that opened with a 20-minute promo, and it'd be another, like, 20-minute promo in the middle, and then it would give me wrestling. I don't mind extending storylines in some ways, but when you're sat there like just chatting rubbish when it's to either a B pay-per-view or something like that, I can't be dealing with Raw and it's like that. But this promo, I could have watched it. That could have gone on for an hour for me. You had CM Punk back to a huge pop, obviously in Chicago.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre's out there as well, and then Seth Rollins comes out, and you have the three people who all hate each other in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like Seth and Punk don't see eye to eye. Seth and Drew definitely don't. Drew and CM Punk don't. So it's like there's that weird sort of like perfect love triangle going on, and it was just so good where CM Punk was like, "I'm going to be at WrestleMania, but I'm still not free to compete." So we knew he's going to be there. And he's like, "But I'm quite good at running my mouth. So how about I do commentary for the Drew Seth match?"
Yeah.
And then I think it was Drew at that point said, "Why don't you just put yourself in the match?" at this point. Why don't you be the referee? Or Punk said about being a referee as well.
Yeah.
And then Seth sort of makes a comment about, oh, your arm, are you even okay to do the whole tapping with that arm?
Yeah.
Which again seems weird because I know they hate each other, but at the same time, Seth's meant to be the face in this, and I don't know who's the face anymore in this feud. This is just people that are just being dicks to each other, and it's just like blurring all sorts of lines. I think the only thing that's going for Seth being the face is obviously his other match, which we'll get to when we discuss WrestleMania, because I've got a theory on that.
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll push that to the side. But then obviously Punk does the taps with his other arm, counts the 3 count, but as he counts the 3, he's obviously looking at Seth. But all you hear is Drew on the microphone go, "I knew!"
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was very good. That was Drew being amazing as always.
Is.
So then after that, Raw was exciting to say the least.
Yeah. I think before we move on, the only other thing I really want to bring up on that first Raw, now that I remember it, because this is something I wanted to go into, is R-Truth is just gold.
Yeah.
This is the match where they had the DIY versus the New Day, and R-Truth and Miz were on commentary, and the Judgment Day just come down, all 4 of them, and just beat on the tag teams that are already weak. And the Miz goes, "I've seen enough," and runs in to beat them, and R-Truth just sits on commentary the entire time. And then when they come out and surround R-Truth, he's like, "No, I'm on commentary tonight. No, call it off. Get someone out here."
He's like cut to commercial.
Cut to commercial.
Yeah.
R-Truth is just, he's an absolute treasure.
Yeah.
If this is going to be one of the last times we see R-Truth because of his age, then they're doing it so well.
Yeah. Yeah, they really are. They really are.
Yeah, sorry. So Raw was pretty much like they're trying to get people injured. SmackDown, kind of similar vein. So we start off with Pretty Deadly defeated Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, but that was mainly because of Logan Paul and his cronies coming out. And it does come to a comedy spot, though, again, which I think is slightly to do with Logan Paul being there, but also Randy Orton's just having, again, similar to Drew, he's having the time of his life at this point. I think Randy Orton knows he's coming to retirement and he's just having fun with it. Because you get to a stage where the fans know where Logan Paul is, and Randy Orton's doing the whole wrestler thing of, I don't know where he is. And he turns around, just looks at this like kid in the crowd, and they go, he's under the ring. And Randy Orton just turns around, lifts up the ring, and Logan Paul's just sitting there cowering, and he just thanks this kid. It's just like before wailing away at Logan Paul again.
That's good. That's really good. I like that.
Set up a Mania that no one's injured for.
Right.
We had Jade Cargill come out and say that she'd signed her SmackDown contract, so she is now an official SmackDown member.
Okay. Yes, I did. I saw her come out.
That just actually means something for WrestleMania. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, A-Town Down Under, as they're being called.
A-Town Down Under.
They beat the Street Profits to advance to the ladder match, which was, I think it was, they did have a bit of like a vid. I think it was a vignette. I don't know if it was after the match or if it was during the match. There was like the Tron obviously went and it was Karrion Kross beating down Bobby Lashley backstage, which sort of distracted the Street Profits.
Yep.
And then after the match, the Authors of Pain and the Final Testament came to the ring and just attacked the Street Profits, which sets up their match at Mania. Also books Austin Theory and Grayson Waller into Mania. However, there is rumours circulating online that WWE are not final with them pair being in the ladder match yet. I don't know how they're going to change it unless they do it on this Friday, but there's talks of them originally wanting to put Pretty Deadly in the match, which is something that we said last podcast, I think. They really wanted Pretty Deadly in this match, but they've obviously booked themselves into a corner by putting them against the New Catch Republic and then sort of being like, oh, shit. So whether it's shenanigans or something that happens on Friday, I don't know, and it might not happen. It's just rumours so far that they did want Pretty Deadly in the match. We then get the toilet break match signed off for WrestleMania. I don't know which night this is going to be on, but if you ever want to go fill up your drink, fill up your popcorn, get a new drink from the fridge, go empty your bladder and bowels, whatever it is. We had Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee challenging Dirty Dom and Santos Escobar to a tag team match, which is a pointless match. They have shoehorned Dom back into a feud that he was out of.
Yeah.
I don't know who this is for. Who this is? Is it because Santos is getting quite big? Is it because they hadn't got Rey on the card and he's probably coming to one of his last Manias? I don't know how many more Rey's going to have in him. Dom obviously didn't have anything on the card. It feels very much like a match they've just gone, there you go. But again, what happens later on in the match makes what we said the last podcast we did even more true, I guess, because, well, in fact, no, we'll blur it into one. So the next match on after this was the New Catch Republic defeated Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah.
So the New Catch Republic are the last team in the ladder match.
Right.
So for ages we were saying, why is this not just LWO versus Legado del Fantasma?
Yeah.
In a multi-man match, and then all of a sudden they've just gone, well, now we've had a Dragon Lee, so Joaquin Wild and Cruz del Toro have just been left out. B and Angelo have been left out. Angel Garza, sorry.
Angel Garza,
Angelo.
Yeah. Not
yeah,
Angelo.
And B, we'll just keep shortening Berto. We'll put... If you can spare just 10 minutes of your time, 1 in 10 wrestlers lose that. It's a bit... Watch the universe mode.
Yep. Yeah, check out. You must. I will say this. You must check out this week's SmackDown, episode number 7. You must check out SmackDown this week. It is just beautiful. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes. So we don't have them pair. We don't have the rest of the LWO. So why is it Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio versus Dirty Dom and Santos? This match makes no sense. It is literally just shoehorned into Mania, and I'm treating it as a toilet break. It might be one of the best matches of the night. I don't care.
I have a feeling it's going to be one of the most exciting matches of the night, as far as moves and speed and all that goes. But yeah, there's just part of me that just feels like it's just not going to happen. You know, like it is just a exhibition match. To get Rey a WrestleMania payday, to one for Dominic as well, perhaps, and the other guys, but it means nothing in the grand scheme of things. It means absolutely nothing. Yeah. So,
and there is actually another match that was made earlier on in the night. Sorry, I should add, which is again it's a bit of a nothing match, but this one has a bit more to it, which is the Final Testament are taking on Bobby's crew.
Hurt Business 3.0.
Yeah, we can't really call it the Hurt Business, but it's because I don't think they're classed as that. But it basically is.
They can't call it the Hurt Business. We can call it whatever the fuck we like.
Yeah. So they've got a 6-man tag match in a Philadelphia street fight.
Why?
Which actually sounds like... I know it's a feud that's been going on for a while, so it does need to blow off. I don't think it needs to blow off at Mania. I think it could have blown off earlier, or even just on a Raw or SmackDown, you could have just finished it off.
Yeah. But
I'm a bit more excited for it, especially with the way that the Raw went off the air with Cody being busted open and blood coming back.
Yeah, that was quite a gruesome spectacle.
Predicted that blood would make its comeback in WWE. So I'm 1-0. I can't have most of my other predictions, so leave me with that one. Who else booked Drew McIntyre to leave WWE and there to be a bloody 4 horsewomen reunion? Just give me the blood. But I think that one probably will end with a bit of blood. I think it'll be hard hitting. I think it'll be fun. And then after it, hopefully we never see them again. Well, hopefully we do see Karrion Kross because I love him. But I don't care for that feud at all.
No, I don't think you're alone.
Yeah, and I've seen all the work that Karrion Kross has been putting in on Twitter as well, and he is absolutely built like an absolute unit. He could easily be up there as like one of the top, like not the face of the company, because that's always going to be like your Cody Rhodes and stuff like that. But he could easily be up there, like a title holder that's just going to hold this belt for the longest of time and just go on an absolute tear with it. because he's like snapping baseball bats in half. He's doing all sorts on X or Twitter. We then had the old switcheroo that came back as AJ Styles took to the ring, wanting to do a whole promo, and a masked man jumped the barricade, who looked nothing like LA Knight, but AJ Styles was like, "It's him! It's him! Get him!"
Was this guy 5'8" and skinny and?
Yeah, it was someone that looked nothing like him jumped the barricade, and then he pulls this hood off, and it's a random man. And then the security escort him away, and then all of a sudden, one of the camera crew just slowly lifts their hat back, and it's LA Knight that's just... And the brawl ensues because the security had all been lured away by this man that looked nothing like him. We then had a weird match that sort of just... Again, there was this one moment in SmackDown where WWE have found something they really like at the minute, and we were praising it, or I was praising it anyway the other week, which is where they have this no-cut camera angle, like, fuck you, Kevin Dunn, we're just doing this our way. And it was this perfectly shot thing, but they used it in this final match. I think it was the final match of the night. It was, which was Blair Davenport. I'm thinking of our Raw. Bianca Belair versus Dakota Kai.
Right.
And they used it where they followed Dakota Kai and Bianca Belair around the ropes, and but the problem was, well, obviously the camera crew weren't supposed to know that this was going to happen. It was a botch. They couldn't help it. But Bianca Belair jumps onto the top turnbuckle, but they're still committed to doing this whole, like, we're not doing a camera cut. And the cameraman comes up the stairs to get this perfect shot of what's meant to be Bianca, like, beating away, doing the 10 punches of in the corner to Dakota.
Yeah.
And Dakota basically slides under her legs and then is meant to grab the ponytail of Bianca Belair and sort of pull her back. But the braid swings round back in front of Bianca Belair, so she ends up grabbing it, chucking it back over her shoulder, and then you see both Bianca Belair and Dakota Kai laughing because they realise that it's just messed up really badly.
Oh, okay.
Like, Bianca's obviously can't do much because she's keeping her balance on the top rope, but Dakota Kai just puts her hand over her mouth because she's laughing too much. She pulls the braid back.
Yeah.
But then, ends as you expect, Bianca Belair picks up a win, and then again a match that's been shoehorned into WrestleMania because they've got nothing for Bianca Belair to do on the card, which apparently people are blaming Charlotte for.
Okay.
Apparently the long-term story planning was to have Bianca Belair versus Charlotte. Don't know how true that is. This is, again, Twitter rumours that have gone awry, but so they've just sort of made a makeshift faction to take on Damage Control. So we're going to get, because after the match, Jade Cargill came out and just obliterated all members of Damage Control and just flattened them. And then did a very seductive move to Kairi Sane, which I'm sure is probably a lot of people's screensavers right now. Because it was some sort of like, it was a power bomb almost, or like, no, it was almost like a face buster. But then as she flips around to do the pin, she sort of leans back, and then arches it back, and then she starts licking her finger seductively as she makes this pin cover. And then it ends the match with Naomi, Bianca Belair, and Jade Cargill pointing at the WrestleMania sign with Damage Control just laid out. So we're getting a 6-woman tag match at WrestleMania.
Yes, that is happening. That is happening.
Feels a lot like they want to get Bianca on because she's the new Undertaker.
Yeah.
They want to get Jade on.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, she's 0-4 or something like that at WrestleMania. Bianca, she's starting her own streak.
Yeah.
Then you got Jade Cargill, who they can hide in a 6-woman tag match if they still don't think she's ready yet. For whatever reason, then they can always hide her in a multi-woman tag, I guess. She might get a big hot tag at the end and just run riot.
She'll be the hot tag that ends the bout.
And then you get Naomi on WrestleMania.
Naomi will be on the road dog duty of taking all the damage and then getting the hot tag to Jade. Yeah.
And then Damage Control, who, yet again, WWE have gone, we've got these women's tag belts, and we should put them on WrestleMania, right? And they've gone, but who do we put? Yeah. What about them two? What about that girl from Australia? There was that. Oh, they left. We got rid of the Iconics. Okay. What about
Yeah.
There's just like literally
Oh, what
no
about Shayna
female tag
Baszler and
teams.
Zoe Stark? No, we split them up. Oh, okay.
We've got there's always the way. You've got Candice LeRae, and we're in the middle of splitting them up. Really? What? Jesus Christ! Well,
Yeah.
who have we got then? I'd just stick them in six
Yeah,
woman.
yeah, nobody. No, who have we
um,
got? No one. Oh, cool.
but that's how SmackDown sort of wrapped itself up as well. So we're back up. We've been brought back up to. In fact, no, we've got one more, haven't we? We've got Raw from last night.
Yeah.
Last night's Raw.
Yep.
Which again, we had Roman Reigns and The Rock. They've been making. I mean, I think the Roman's made about 80% of his yearly appearances.
Yeah, in the first 4 months.
Yeah, he's done. Although speaking of him saying that like they're done, there was actually he put a post on somewhere. I can't remember where he put the post now, but I think it said something along the lines of, "All you were like willing this to happen" or something like that. But when he loses the belt, he's gone. It was something like that. Like he is just leaving when if he loses the belt, sort of thing.
He'll be gone for a while. He'll have like a year off, and then he'll come back at the next Mania or Rumble, I think.
But we kicked off Raw with the Judgment Day defeating the New Day and DIY. Again, it seems a weird thing to have the Judgment Day like wipe out two of the opponents in their ladder match, but that probably means that DIY or New Day are winning.
Yeah, I think that'll be. It'll probably be a DIY win unless there's some big thing where Big E comes back. I keep saying it, and I will keep saying it because I want it to happen. Even if it's in a managerial capacity, like not in in-ring capacity, like I want Big E to come back. Like the WWE needs him on the show. Yeah. So like
we had one of the weirdest matches and weirdest builds to WrestleMania ever. Now, all through this, I've been saying that they wanted to protect people. They wanted to sort of do just promos and stuff like that. This is the one match you did not want to get wrong. This is the one match you should not have gone anywhere near with a barge pole because the crowd already hate this match being a thing, and they had Bronson Reed beat Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
So you've had the crowd, absolute outcries from the crowd saying it should have been Gable. This should have been Chad's moment.
Yeah.
And then Bronson Reed beats Sami Zayn. Gunter does attack Sami Zayn as well during this.
Yeah, the end.
And cleans out both Gable and Sami Zayn, which, I mean, could play into something after Mania, maybe. I don't know, but it seems like they've. I think it almost feels like WWE made the Sami Zayn Gunter match.
Yeah.
I've again listened to the crowd because the crowd obviously. Well, we're not sure if the sort of bloodline thing was always the plan, or whether this is just because of the crowd. But let's say it was because the crowd had the outcry of Cody Rhodes should be facing thing, because everyone was saying that you're going to ruin the Royal Rumble if you do this. Blah blah blah. WWE then get the same outcry a few weeks later when they don't let Chad Gable win. And then it feels like they've gone, well, what happens if we let Chad be the one that sort of becomes Mr. Miyagi and teaches Sami Zayn to beat Gunter with a swift kick?
Yeah.
I watched The Karate Kid recently. But it feels like they haven't got enough time to build that story up.
No.
It feels like it was like 2 weeks and now it's Mania, so there's no more Raws to build that up.
That's right.
So it's sort of like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah, it is very much a case of what do you do now?
Do they just let Gunter retain at Mania and then have Sammy or Chad face him at Backlash and keep that feud going? Or we don't actually know what's going to happen. But then, if Bronson Reed beats Sami Zayn, surely he's going to be in line for that IC belt. He should be.
I think
he should be up there.
I think the WWE have realised what they've done, and the negative response, especially, was not something that they used to. Especially when it comes to Sami Zayn, because he's kind of like their safe, the safe character they can use to get the crowd on side almost. So I think the negative response kind of they that's why I think Bronson Reed beat him, because now he goes into Mania against Gunther. Gunther retains at Mania, gets a big WrestleMania victory over an established superstar. Just adds more to his credibility, and then he will be beaten later down the road, maybe at Backlash, or perhaps maybe SummerSlam, by someone who deserves to win, like Chad Gable, like Bronson Reed, because you have, between Mania and then, you have, like, what is it, like 4 months, three or 4 months, and
Yeah.
I know that's a long time in terms of wrestling, like that's a lot of storytelling to do, but it doesn't have to be a week to, it doesn't have to be a week by week thing. It can be every other week that they go back and look at the story and how it's progressed, and whatever else is happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like, I feel like they're very aware of I feel bad calling it a mistake. It just feels like a misdirection,
Yeah.
like because people love Sami Zayn, they kind of thought,
Well, yeah.
oh, let's put him in a match with Gunther and
Yeah.
maybe dethrone Gunther. But then everyone was like, no, hold on, we like Sami Zayn, but we don't like him that much.
Yeah. I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think everyone, it was two big baby faces, like Sami Zayn does probably deserve a belt run for like
Sure.
this stuff he's
Yeah.
done with the bloodline and the way he progressed that story. He became suddenly the face of WWE. Like, fans wanted him to be the one to dethrone Roman at one point.
Yes,
And
that
then
is true.
and then so he probably does deserve a Mania moment and a belt. But at the same time, you also have Chad Gable, who has done nothing but put on banger after banger all year, get himself over organically in house shows.
Yeah.
And it sort of has that feel of like old school, sort of like, and I hate saying this word because we shouldn't be saying this word. It feels Vince like. It's sort of like, it's almost like you've got over organically. We're not going to give in to that. We
Yeah.
want to make the stars. This is not what our vision is.
Yeah.
And it feels like Chad's being punished for being good at what he does.
Yeah. Yeah, which is out of order. It's not fair.
And it also sort of, it doesn't look good on Sammy either, because like I say, he had that bloodline feud. He had everything. This year has been fantastic for Sammy in a way that, or the last like 2 years has been great for Sammy. And he deserves that match, but this almost puts it like you're trying to turn fans, or not trying to, you've inadverted. It's how they're going to get out of it, to be fair, at the end. But anyway, we'll see. There could be some shenanigans at Mania, but we'll get onto that. We've then got Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree. We were saying another tag team's breaking up, because it did. So after Candice LeRae basically being a bit off a hunt for the last few weeks, they were having an argument with Indy in the ring, and Candice LeRae starts arguing with Indy Hartwell, and Maxine Dupree just absolutely rocket drop kicks Indy Hartwell into Candice LeRae, sending her to the outside, and then rolls up Indy Hartwell for the pin. I mean, the drop kick engulfs me. She's probably 6 foot something, I'd say. I don't know her exact height. She probably isn't now. So I know that some of the divas are obviously smaller in stature than what we expect, but she looks very tall compared to some of the other, like I just said divas, and they haven't been divas for a long time, but a lot of the women's wrestlers, like, they do feel shorter in stature, and Maxine does as well, but Indy Hartwell sort of towers above Candice LeRae. And this drop kick that Maxine hit is like nearly on the shoulder blades almost. She absolutely just leaps like a gazelle to deliver that drop kick. And then just rolls up Indy, and then we said that it ended to a breakup. Candice LeRae just leaves Indy Hartwell in the ring after the match and just walks off. So it looks like another tag team's breaking up. Tell me it's WrestleMania without telling me it's WrestleMania week. It's the next match. Because the next match was Ricochet versus Ivar. Just who's here that we don't want to get hurt? You out.
Yeah.
Get out there. I think it's the first time they've ever faced each other. I realised that I've froze, so I don't know how much this you're actually going to hear.
It keeps freezing. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to fix it. As you can see, the game has closed.
It might be my side. It could be my side. I don't know.
Okay.
We haven't got anything in. It is saying I've got green connection, but I am seeing it freeze a lot.
Yeah. I don't know why.
So apologies if the podcast is terrible.
I'll do my best to work around it, but it seems to be happening sporadically.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
But so the match sort of goes as you'd expect, and it feels like there's a push for Ricochet coming at some point, because Ivar dominates the match, but then Ricochet comes back and just like a underdog sort of story, and then just hits the what splash is it? 630 splash that Ricochet does. It's not just a
450
360. So he hits that and picks up the win.
Yeah.
So it feels like he's probably going to get a push shortly. We then have Damage Control defeated Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark and Tegan Nox.
Yeah.
So the three women got a win going into their WrestleMania match, which, just poor Shayna. Just from an NXT badass to just job squad.
Yeah. And that's the saddest part, because she's currently my champion on the universe mode in Raw.
But that's what she should be in real. That shouldn't just be the universe mode.
I know.
She is everyone, even the people listen to this, if you're a diehard wrestling fan or you're just starting to watch wrestling and fall in love with wrestling, everyone that actually likes wrestling knows it's fake, knows that it's scripted. Yes, these people take hits. They've got bodies better than most people can dream of, because they do it. You can't fake falling off a ladder. You do get hurt doing the sport, but we do know it is entertainment.
Yeah,
that there's an E in WWE for a reason. But Shayna Baszler could legit kill people. She is a UFC fighter that could legit kill a man.
She could kill anybody, really. It's definitely something. Such a dangerous individual, and yet this is how we this is what they think is right or something.
And what people seem to forget is the last proper feud she had was her retiring Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, it's nothing insignificant. Nothing insignificant.
So it just, to me, it makes no sense. And I love Tegan Nox. I think she's great. I'm glad that she's back when she came back. But again, it seems like she's just going to be the fall person every week. And it just seems a bit weird. And then obviously Zoe Stark is an up-and-comer that, will learn a lot from Shayna Baszler. But it feels like they just don't have anything for them.
No, they don't. They don't have anything for them. And the problem is that it shows... it actually shows now. That's the problem. Yeah.
We then ended Raw, and after saying all this about they want to protect the stars, that we have a Bloodline rules match where Roman Reigns and The Rock just assault Seth and Cody Rhodes before Mania.
Yeah.
Which could be the fact that we're going to get Cody and Seth winning at Mania, because usually if you get battered on the go home show, it's
Yeah,
usually a sign. But we'll see. We do have predictions coming up as well,
we do.
and we will still go through maybe some like fantasy realms in a minute if we go through WrestleMania, because that's all that happened on Raw. It ends with The Rock yet again lying over in pain, broken Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Um,
Swearing, I might add,
Yep,
absolutely
again.
filling up his swear jar.
Yep.
I've not heard language this bad, and what made me laugh was I kept trying to mute it.
Yeah.
Every time he swore, someone pressed the mute button, and it was always too late, or they just caught it, and that made me laugh because I was thinking, no, they're clearly using him as the vessel to push back the age limit so that it
Yeah.
can be a more realistically adult rated product. So at least teen, because you know teens have heard the sort of swearing before, and it does and it does lend a level of legitimacy, but The Rock is overdoing it.
Yeah.
Every other like fuck his story, and this is fuck shit up and stuff, and I'm just like, oh Rock, you need to stop. He's trying too hard, and he's starting to make me think. He's making me like a bit like, doesn't you don't need this. You're The Rock. And Seth Rollins making Waluigi noises, as Botchamania said.
we still don't really know what sort of age rating Netflix want. So maybe Netflix have been the one that have said maybe go a bit more edgy. Maybe that's TKO doing that. We don't know what's the actual reason behind it, but it has become a lot more like you used to get with maybe one or two swear, like one person might, and it would always be like
rare.
a bitch or a shit or a bitch or something like that.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be to the extent that The Rock's doing.
No. Rock has gone full like X-rated as far as his language use.
But then The Rock's
goes.
probably going to turn around and go, "What are you going to do? Fire me? I am the board."
Yeah. But that's why. Yeah, that's why he's the one doing it, because he's the one saying, "Well, I did it for so long. Why the others can't." And like and the thing he keeps on going about Mama Rhodes. Fucking like she does not give a shit, mate. Like she doesn't fucking care. Mama Rhodes, I'm gonna make your boy bleed, and she's just sitting there going, his daddy bled too. Like, she's
Mama Rhodes, take me home.
Yeah, fuck's sake. I was so excited for it initially, but as the weeks have gone on, it's descending into a bit of a Hollywood situation, and we've seen it before. Unless it is like the Firefly Funhouse thing with Cena, or the Boneyard match with AJ Styles and Undertaker, that cinema worked because it was filmed in a way like it was a film. It was filmed like a film.
That was all. That was the good part of the pandemic. The fact that they could do that.
Yes, it absolutely was. But then we've got this, and it's kind of trying to blur the lines of not only reality but cinematic like universe with WWE, like wrestling. Like the whole actual premise of the show. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. Like I said, I was excited as the weeks have gone on. The excitement is slightly fading because I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm seeing it all. If this sort of stuff was at Mania, I'd be like, wow, oh shit, okay, they're swearing, there's blood, they've gone outside the arena, like it's big, it's like, but the fact they did it on Raw, it just kind of, so what's left for Mania now?
Well, but we can get to Mania now because the card is fully set, and I don't know how true this card is,
right?
But this is the actual card, but what I mean by that is they've broke it up onto what's going to be on Saturday and what's going to be on Sunday.
Okay.
So according to the sheet that I'm looking at, we have obviously the main event on Saturday, Rhodes and Rollins versus the Bloodline.
Yeah.
And if Roman and if Cody and Seth win, Bloodline are barred from Sunday.
Yeah.
We then also have the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch will be on that show. Probably, maybe the opener. Maybe, I don't know. Looking at this, that's probably the opener. WWE Intercontinental Championship, Gunther versus Sammy. We have the ladder 6-pack ladder match on here. Jimmy versus Jay. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi versus Damage Control. And they've also got the LWO versus Dominic and Santos Escobar for the Saturday.
Right.
Which seems a very weak card in comparison to Sunday, which is the obviously Roman Cody, Seth Drew, Io Bailey, Logan Paul, Randy, and Kevin Owens, AJ Styles and LA Knight, and then the Philadelphia street fight between the Pride, is what they're calling Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
And the Final Testament.
Okay.
Which to me, Sunday seems like the better card. Which, to be fair, Sunday probably should be. It's the main event of Mania. That is the end of Mania.
Yes.
But yeah. So if we go back to the Saturday, I think the match most people are looking forward to: Cody and Seth versus the Bloodline. Do you have any? Not a prediction on who's going to win, unless you do want to do that. Obviously, we'll probably do the predictions video after this, but it'll be out on the channel as well.
Yeah, I'll save that.
But this might be I think, in fact, I'm just going to spoil my prediction for this, so this will be one thing, because I think that in this match, I think we get Seth turning on Cody.
Yeah.
I think Seth's going to turn and go join his brother in Roman Reigns and leave Cody bloodied, so the Bloodline rules come into play on Sunday. But I will also answer that with the fact that I think that the Bloodline are going to either make the match on Sunday a no holds barred or something like that, and then I sent Ryu a photo of what I think is going to happen, which we're going to get the members of the Bloodline in the ring on Sunday of The Rock, Roman, Jimmy, Solo, maybe Jay if he turns on him as well and goes back to the Bloodline, because they have said that there is rumors anyway that there's going to be more members added to the Bloodline, which technically means that this isn't over here. And Paul Heyman said we're only in the 4th inning.
I thought it was the new Samoan guys that they hired.
Yeah, it could be, but what I mean is that we can't really end the Bloodline here if they're going to add more members, because if Roman's already said it if he loses that he's done. And whether this, I don't know if we're going to get the end of the story, finishing the story here or not. I haven't decided on who I'm going to pick for the winner of that other match. But I said to you that we're going to get the members of the Bloodline in the ring, and Cody's going to be outside the ring, blood coming down him because it's Mania. It's going to be a big moment. You're going to get blood. He's going to stand up to his feet, and we're going to get that Avengers Endgame sort of. All of a sudden, glass shatters and the trumpets go blaring, and it'll be like Avengers Assemble as Stone Cold comes out and stands next to Cody. John Cena comes out. You could even, I don't know if they're still hired by AEW, but we have had vignettes as well and posts online of Dustin Rhodes or Goldust for people that don't watch AEW. He's started taking jabs at The Rock, and I don't know if he's still on AEW's roster or not. I need to double check that, but he could also come out and stand next to Cody. Mm-hmm. You could always have if Jay doesn't turn, Jay comes out and stands next to him as well, and have this full blown Avengers Endgame sort of Cody just leading the charge. If they've made the rules that there are no rules, you could end up with this absolutely insane just charge at each other of these
that would be big, especially for WrestleMania 40. That would be big. Yeah. That would be big. I mean, I can't think of anyone. I mean, Undertaker, maybe. I know he said he can't go anymore, but he doesn't have to. He just has to. They could have that, and it all starts going a bit. They're pushing back, but then they start getting beaten again, and it started. Then the fucking gong goes and the lights go out, and then the lights come back up, and Taker's just in the ring, and he's got like the Rock by the throat, choke slam the Rock, big boot to Jimmy, like does the punch combo in the corner with Solo, like does the Undertaker chop, knocks him over the top rope, and turns around, grabs Roman, tombstone, done.
Yeah.
Like
I think it's.
I mean, we could fantasy book that for a while, but let's let's not get too wrapped up in it.
So I suppose assuming everyone's match that everyone's looking forward to is that Bloodline versus Cody and Seth, and same on night 2, I think it's going to be Roman and Cody's the match everyone's looking forward to. But what other matches are you going to pick as your ones to watch for WrestleMania weekend?
I would see if it wasn't Gunther Sammy, I would have said whatever match Gunther's going to be in, because it was bound to be good. But because it's Gunther Sammy, I don't care. I unfortunately don't care. I pray that Gunther retains. I don't want Sammy to be Intercontinental Champion, even if it means that Gunther can elevate himself into the main event picture. Wonderful. But we're forgetting about AJ Styles and LA Knight also being in that title picture. Oh, man. Like, it's a bit messy right now. So I would have said whatever match Gunther's going to be in. But at this moment now, I don't care anymore. So I think the other match I really want to see is Bayley versus Io Sky. I think that will be quite good. I think they'll probably take the chains off and sort of, go a bit over the top, perhaps, with each other, just to sort of stand out. But I'm really looking forward to Drew Seth. The only problem with your prediction or your conspiracy theory that Seth turns on Cody is you've then got a heel versus heel main event for night 2. Because if Seth costs Cody the bloodline rules, then people have sort of learned to, or not learned, but they've become accustomed to booing Drew now, even though they see that he's doing good stuff. Like he's clearly being that shithousery heel, doing all that shit with CM Punk and stuff, and then like on commentary doing like people our age that understand wrestling will love that. We will laugh and we will see it as what it is, right? But you got to remember, a lot of people that watch WWE it's real to them. It's like a real product. So it will confuse the simpletons. Is what I'm trying to say. It will confuse the simple minds and the children, and they won't understand that they should be booing Drew and Seth, and it's going to be and I've always said that will be a shit match, is heel versus heel. So the
only thing I'd say to that, which I agree with, that it would turn it into a heel versus heel, but I think it also would give Drew maybe that little bit. I think people would be so against Seth that he's turned on essentially the face of the company, that it sort of gives Drew his WrestleMania moment that he never got. That when he lifts that belt, there might be a few cheers in there. Yes, he'll be predominantly booed for being a heel and all the stuff he's done, like you mentioned, but it could also give him that little bit of a, you sort of deserve this. People will want to see that win eventually, and give him that he's done. I think so. In my opinion, he deserved better than just the lockdown mania that he got.
Yeah, but it's been 4 years, and he conquered Brock Lesnar, who at the time was the fucking man, So I don't know. I kind of feel like that ship sailed, like the Drew McIntyre hype train sailed or left the station. But at the same time, this could be a nice way for him to have his WrestleMania moment in front of a live audience. But I don't know. What's the reaction he's getting? Is he being booed? Is he being cheered? Is he getting any reaction at all?
I think there'd be a few cheers. I think there would be a few
I'd cheer
sort of
him.
boost. But you also don't really know what's going to happen with CM Punk being on commentary.
Yeah.
I don't think CM Punk gets involved, but I think that he does sort of. Obviously, there's going to be a lot going towards that as well.
He can't be on commentary and not be involved. Like, there's just no way. There's no, not like maybe he could almost cost Drew. Maybe. Well, again, it's like, then what about what then? What do they do with Cody then on night one and not Cody, sorry, with Seth on night one in the Cody Seth match? You know, with the Rock and. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I can't. I've got way too much.
It's such a weird mate.
On.
I think this is going to be one of the first manias where they've put so much into one match that, like we've said for ages, it seems like the other matches are just being sort of second thought. But
they are.
It's so much rides on that first match between Seth. Like, if he comes out of it 100%, then we're going to get a good match. If he comes out of it and the Bloodline just jump him and send him home in a wheelchair, then we're going to get a squash match where Drew gets to the ring, Claymore kick, we've got a new champion.
I mean, if Seth can't defend, it gets vacated and Drew will just automatically take the win.
Well, then we had the segment where Drew was like, I'm going to drag you to the ring.
Yeah, well...
you are getting in the ring.
I mean, that's all big chat, isn't it? Like, that's all, big talk. But the truth is if he gets fucking hospitalised... Unless Drew says... Oh, he's not here? What's wrong with him? Oh, he's in the hospital. Right, I'll be right back. And he fucking drives an ambulance to the fucking arena. And he wheels Seth with the fucking neck brace, with all this shit. And he wheels Seth to the ring on a gurney. Lifts him up. Just dumps him into the ring. Gets in the ring. And just fucking, pins him.
Or you just get the throwback of the Vince McMahon, and again, I'm using a name that we shouldn't be talking about anymore, but the Stone Cold segment in the hospital. Just Seth there on a life support machine, and then all of a sudden the doctor starts speaking Scottish, and he just panics.
Look here. What have we got here? Gets a bedpan. Bong!
Yeah. But I think it's going to be a great weekend. Anyone that's been lucky enough to get out there, they'll have a great time. The carnival atmosphere. I did see some of the wrestlers and superstars from both brands basically putting out stuff. I think Naomi, was one, put out it's a festival sort of atmosphere, but please don't wait for us in hotel rooms. That's meant to be our place to relax, because it's a busy time for all wrestlers, and I feel sorry for them at this time.
Yeah, the thing is,
they're just doing their job.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, a lot of these fans, they're fucking psychopaths. I know we've discussed it before, but they will just fucking stalk them, from the airport to the hotel, find out what their room is, and go fucking knock. And I'm like, you need to fuck off. Leave them the fuck alone. Go and do what everyone else does or should do, and that's go to the meet and greets where. That's where you get to talk to them and get stuff signed. I hate that. I hate it. Because so many of the wrestlers I've met, and I've met them at the meet and greets, have been fucking amazing. The only one who was a complete fucking cock was Alberto Del Rio. Notable prick, Alberto Del Rio.
Say no more. Say no more.
Yeah. He was the only one who was an absolute jerk. Everybody else was fucking sweet as. Even Flair, and I was a bit he's kind of old, he might be a bit grumpy. He was a fucking gentleman. So Nate was just he was awesome, but I digress.
The only other thing I've got to say before we end it, because it's probably gone on for a while, the podcast,
we're about
the only other thing that came up this week, and it's funny watching people that don't, it's either a work that WWE have agreed to, right, or this is something that someone that doesn't watch wrestling doesn't understand wrestling.
Right.
Because and I'm not even this isn't my opinion. This is what he is legit quoted as in this article that I read. Joey Swall, who is an anti-influencer influencer. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
How the fuck that works, I don't know. He's become the thing he hates. So he basically is apparently a bodybuilder, model and this anti-influencer
I
influencer.
I am aware of him.
And so there was a video of Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, the A-Town Hernandez, in a gym, and Austin Theory's there doing weights, and someone walks in front of the camera, and Grayson Waller goes like, "Hey, what are you doing, man? We're recording here," and like get out of here, get out of the shot.
Yeah.
And Austin Theory's like holding these weights, like like complaining that he's getting on it. And this Joey Swole guy thinks that is a genuine take.
Oh,
and he's like, no, you don't record in gyms. If that was me, I'd have just knocked you out there and all this, that, and the other. Like, if you're going to go into a gym, you do work. You don't record yourself, do this, that, and the other, and all this. Like, and people are just in the comments going, "You're aware it's a work, right? They're heels. It's what they do." This is literally their character.
He didn't get it. Yeah, but he doesn't know. He literally is. He jumps on the train of, like you said, he's an anti-influence. So someone will be there and be like, oh, this person, look at them benching like 10 kilos and stuff. And that Joey Swole will be like, hey, fuck you. At least they're doing something. Like, they started. Everyone starts somewhere, you little prick. Like, he gets on their case about it. So I get that, but the fact that he has no idea who Austin Theory and who Grayson Waller are, and he bought into they basically trolled his own gimmick. So. Yeah,
he calls them WWE superstars, so we know who they are. But then Austin Theory went back to him saying like, "The fuck are you talking about? I'll knock you out if I ever see." Sort of thing, and he bit again and went back at him saying that all this, and people are just like, it's literally their job. They're being heels. They are literally in character.
Yeah,
like they're winding you up. It's what they do.
yeah. It's a bit like because that's why everyone gets all excited when. Like there was I distinctly I know we're going to wrap this up here. I just quickly on that what you just said. I remember distinctly when the Authority was still an angle, when they were still a thing. And I remember there was some kid at ringside, and I can't remember, I think Cena got the shit kicked out of him by Corporate Kane and Corporate Big Show. And they were really upset because, the kids, let them believe, and they were really upset. Yeah. And Triple H he kind of just went, like, you could see the father in him took over, and after the TV had stopped, he went over to the kid and was, like, he stroked his head. He was like, "Hey, look, it's okay. Like, don't be upset. It's it's a show, and he was like consoling and I was like, but everyone was like, "Oh, it's so nice to see him break character and stuff." I'm like, they're fucking people. Like, yeah. I've seen fans give back just as good as they get to, like, within the bounds of the story and the thing. Like, with Dominic Mysterio, with Damian Priest, Finn Balor, like the heels. Like who's the other one? Like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Like, someone had an Australian flag and Grayson Waller was kind of like, "Oh, yeah, all right, mate." Like that, and then I think Austin Theory turned around and he says, "You're holding it upside down." And then the guy looks at the flag, like, and he was like, "Hey, dummy, I got you." Like, like they were being bad guys, but yeah, they were playing along. And then when they get the crowd involved as well, that's even better. Or the crowd switch, like they boo the good guy and cheer the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I seen the last one I'll bring up on a similar thing. I seen like clips from a house show where a fan brought like "Rip My Sign" or something like that.
Oh yeah,
and no one had done it, and it's Finn Balor just walks out, and obviously they're meant to be heels. They just lost, and he just smiles, sees this kid's fan, takes it, like rips it off her, hands it to JD McDonough, and he rips it in half, and then you just see like Finn just like laughing and like going and like hugging this kid before walking out again.
Yeah. I think he even he bit it as well. Like, he bit it with his teeth, like ripped it. Like, yeah. See, that's when you can have fun, when you do little things like that. That is fun. But yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of influencers take themselves far too seriously. But I'm gonna wrap this up here. That was a pretty good catch up podcast. Again, really, really sorry about the technical difficulties. Not quite sure what was happening there. It could be on my end. It could be on Orca's end. All we know is that it froze a couple of times. I will do my very best to make sure that it's not too apparent, but I just want to put my hands up. Disclaimer: if there's any audio issues, that's because we were having technical issues, but we figured it out in the end. So that's all from us. We will be back after WrestleMania. In fact, I think the next time we release a podcast will be the week before I actually go out to the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
it'll be the week before.
And
exciting
then we'll have an
times.
in-person one, potentially.
We will have. We are going to spend a good day or so just getting as much done as we can. So we'll figure it out when once we're there. Or closer to the departure time. So with that being said, thank you everyone for hanging out with us and putting up with us this week. Apologies for missing last week, but schedules just conflicted too much. We just couldn't get 5 minutes where we were both in the same space. But that's why we're here today. Got it done, got it out. So it's episode 7. So there's some continuity there. So we're on episode 7. We'll see you next time for episode 8, the post WrestleMania podcast. Exciting things to talk about. So thank you everybody. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Thank you everyone. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.